Hi Aquarius, Sun, Moon and Risings. Welcome to your August 2022 horoscope. My name is Cailin and today I'm going to be covering the major transits for the month ahead using tropical astrology and the whole sign system. I strongly recommend that you watch your horoscope for your ascendant sign first and foremost, because generally speaking, it will be the most accurate for you overall. Having said that, if you are an Aquarius sun, you'll find that this horoscope relates to you more with respect to your career and your life goals, whereas you moon in Aquarius people will find that this horoscope pertains to your property and living circumstances, your personal relationships, as well as your emotional health and well-being. And now let's get into your horoscope. On the 1st of August or the 2nd, depending where you live in the world, Mars and Uranus will form a conjunction at 18 degrees in Taurus in your 4th house. Now, at the end of July, on the 31st, Uranus, the North Node, and Mars formed a conjunction in Taurus in your 4th house as well. But this is a continuation from that because at that time, Mars was at 17 degrees. So it was trailing behind a little bit. So I am going to recap on some of the themes that I discussed then. And I would also highly recommend that you go back and watch my July forecast. And that'll be the last transit, which will be about 5 or 10 minutes from the end of the video. So, with Mars conjunct Uranus in your 4th house, this indicates that there might be big changes that come through very quickly or maybe even very unexpectedly with respect to your living circumstances, property matters, as well as your family and your home life, just generally speaking. Now, Uranus is one of the planets that rules you, so this indicates that you will be having a hand in the decision-making process. And even if you're not doing this on a conscious level, given that Uranus is one of the outer planets, you may have unconsciously or subconsciously called this shift or this change into your life. Now, for some of you, you could be buying property or selling property. Now, Uranus has the energy of being unpredictable and premature, and that's where we get unpredictability from, because it's something that we weren't expecting or something happens sooner than we expected. So you may have to buy a property, and when I say have to, maybe you're looking to buy but you were looking a few months from now, or you just weren't expecting to find anything. Maybe you weren't even looking, but an opportunity comes up that's too good to miss. And the same can be said for selling. Maybe you had no intention of selling a property of yours, but a real estate agent could come knocking on your door, or someone could offer you, someone could put forward an offer that's too good to resist. And on a different level, but still with respect to property, even if you're not buying or selling, you could be having to vacate where you live all of a sudden. So this could be very abrupt. Maybe, just as an example, the agent wants to move into your place. So, sorry, not the agent, maybe the landlord needs you to vacate so that they can live in the property that you're living in. Or perhaps there's an opportunity for you to relocate very suddenly. And because Mars rules over your 10th house, this could be connected to your work. So maybe there'll be an opportunity for you to move, whether that is to another country or just to another town or city. And on a different note, maybe you already had plans in motion to move, but this gets accelerated. So just as an example, you could have purchased a property that was meant to settle 3 months from now, and all of a sudden there's a sense of urgency and you need to settle sooner. That's just a few ways that this can play out. On a different note, because the 4th house is connected to your family life, actually, one last thing, you may have someone move into your place unexpectedly, or you may be moving out. So your flatmates, your housemates, the people that you actually live together with, that dynamic could change. So on the family front, you could find out that you're going to become a parent. And once again, Uranus has this quality of unpredictability. So this could be you falling pregnant, especially because this involves Uranus. But depending on your own personal chart, it could be that your significant other is getting pregnant at this time. And on a different note, you could actually be accepted to adopt a child. And again, this might happen sooner than what you had anticipated. And on a different note, but still with respect to family, this can indicate that you are basically severing ties with a family member. So maybe you've had a very toxic relationship with someone that's in your family. This could be a parent, given that this is occurring in your 4th house and Mars rules over your 10th house, which is the parental axis. But having said that, Mars rules over your 3rd house, which is connected to siblings and extended relatives. So, it just depends on your personal set of circumstances. Of course, this is a general reading, so not all of this will apply to you. And on a different note, some of you could just be making some kind of discovery about your family lineage or about your ancestry. So you could come across some information about your family, about your ancestors, and this could have a very big impact on you and how you identify. And I'm saying this because Uranus is one of your chart rulers in addition to Saturn, and Uranus rules over divine knowledge and information. So, you could find out something which is unexpected about your family, and that, like I said, could change the way that you identify as a person. So, on a different note, the 4th house is connected to your psychological foundations and your emotional health and well-being. So there could just be this huge shift in you in terms of coming out of some sort of long-lasting depression, and it could come overnight. And I'm saying this because Uranus has the quality of manifesting something instantaneously. So even if you're not coming out of a depression, you may just feel this huge shift on a psychological level for the better. This could really improve your outlook on life and your mentality. And I'm saying this because Mars rules over your 3rd house. And on one hand, I would say that this would pertain to Aquarius ascendants and Aquarius moons, because the moon is connected to your emotional needs. But if you are an Aquarius sun, your priorities could change overnight with regard to what you want to do with your career, whether that is quitting your job so that you can spend more time with family, especially because Mars rules over your 10th house, or maybe you're wanting to retire a lot earlier than you had expected. Now, on the 4th of August, Mercury is going to enter the sign of Virgo, which means it will be transiting your 8th house, and it will be there until the 25th of August. Normally, I don't mention Mercury transits, and that is because Mercury travels so quickly through each sign. It spends about 3 weeks in each sign. So the reason I'm mentioning it this time around is because Mercury loves to be in Virgo. It rules over Virgo and it is exalted in Virgo. So this 3-week period of time will see you having a lot of success when it comes to researching things and inquiring about the following topics. First of all, anything to do with your mutual resources. So this could be alimony money, child support, an inheritance, a tax return, or perhaps you are consulting a financial planner about your joint assets or resources that you share with another person. So you may be wanting to start up a conversation about one of those topics, especially because Mercury rules over your 8th house as well as your 5th house. And the 5th house is connected to children. And so this can see you having an open dialogue, or at the very least, broaching the subject of child support money, or like I said, alimony money, or finding out some more information about an inheritance, or maybe you're going to receive a correspondence or an email or some sort of written or verbal notification or communication about those topics. Now, for those of you who are in a committed relationship with another person, you could be analyzing your significant other's financial situation, or the two of you could be discussing your your assets together and your resources together. And maybe the two of you are considering making an investment. Now, the 8th house is also connected to sex, and Mercury represents communications. So, with the 8th house also ruling over psychology and psychiatry, you could be talking to a psychologist or a psychiatrist about your sex life or any issues that you have with sex or emotional intimacy, or you could simply be speaking to your significant other about your sex life, and you could have a very candid and enlightening conversation on these topics. The 8th house is connected to surgery, and Mercury represents research, and the 8th house represents deep research. So you could be doing some deep research into a surgery that you may be considering taking. And on a different note, the 8th house is connected to the occult and anything which is esoteric in nature. So you could actually be researching about such topics. So you could be doing your own studies on astrology, or because Mercury rules over your 5th house, maybe some of you are actually astrologers or tarot readers, or you work in the occult or spiritual industry. So you could be giving readings. These could be verbal, these could be written, and it certainly would be a good time for you to get a reading if you've been considering it. Obviously, these sorts of readings are not for everyone, but if you've been wanting to get an astrology reading or see a psychic medium or a clairvoyant or a tarot reader, I would say that, you know, the 5th, wait, what was the date? Sorry, the 4th of August to the 25th of August would be a good time to do so. On that note, I do offer private one-on-one readings for both astrology and tarot. So if you want to book a reading with me, you can do so via the link in the description box below. And lastly, with this transit, the 8th house is connected to addictions and fears. So this can see you rationally analyzing why you have certain fears, or doing some research into what it would take for you to overcome an addiction, if not a fear. Now, on the 11th of August, Venus is going to enter the sign of Leo, which means it will be transiting your 7th house. And we love to see it. Venus is a planet of love, relationships, finances, and basically wherever Venus goes, this is where we can enjoy that area of life. And the 7th house is all about your one-to-one relationships. So you could be forming new friendships, you could be meeting new clients, or you could just be enjoying your relationship with friends, with clients, or with your significant other. You might be feeling more sociable around this period of time, and you could just be experiencing more harmony and balance within your one-to-one relationships. So this will be from the 11th of August until the 5th of September. And this is certainly a great period for sales. And that is because the 7th house is a business house in astrology. So this can see you making more sales with your business, especially if they relate to the property industry. And that is because Venus rules over the 4th house, and Venus also rules over the 9th house. So if you work in travel, the travel industry, tourism, anything to do with education or import or export, or even international relations, you can have a lot of success in your business or in your role in the workplace during this period of time. Now, on the 18th of August, Venus in Leo in your 7th house is going to make a trine to Jupiter in Aries at 8 degrees, and Jupiter will be in your 3rd house, and Jupiter will be retrograde. So, Venus in astrology is the lesser benefic, and Jupiter is considered to be the greater benefic. And basically, benefic meaning they bring a benefit somehow. So both Venus and Jupiter are connected to wealth, prosperity, abundance, good luck, and good fortune. There are slight differences, well, not slight differences, there are differences between what Venus and Jupiter represent, but in terms of their good qualities, if you will, that's what they have in common. So with Venus being in your 7th house, trining Jupiter in your 3rd house, we're combining the themes of your one-to-one personal relations or relationships, as well as friendships, education, short trips and journeys, and so on and so forth. So both the 3rd house and the 7th house are social houses in astrology. They are business houses. They are connected to the element of air. So this is a great time to network. And in terms of how this could play out for you, just bearing in mind that the influence will only be about 2, maybe 3 days. This can see you going on a short trip or journey with another person, and this could be with a friend. This could be a really eye-opening experience, or one that you just really enjoy and that leads to you connecting more deeply with this friend or with this person. Given that the 3rd house is connected to siblings and relationships, and Venus rules over your 4th house, which represents family, if you're not going on a trip with friends or co-workers, this could actually be with a family member. Now, the 3rd house is connected to education and short courses, as well as communications. So you may be signing up for a short course or to study with a friend, and this could be related to what Jupiter rules over in your horoscope, which is the 11th house and the 2nd house. So just combining those themes, it could be finances, money, something to do with cryptocurrencies or learning about the financial market or stock market. You could be learning or doing a course which relates to cooking and the food industry or the 5 senses, or this could be something to do with being creative or art, or maybe gardening. And maybe you're signing up for a course which is going to lead to you having some kind of new qualification. Now, the 7th house is connected to one-to-one relationships of all kinds, and also consulting. So you could be learning with a tutor privately. So maybe you're not doing this course with a friend. Maybe you're just getting someone to teach you and to share their knowledge and wisdom with you, whether that is paid or unpaid. Given that this is involving a trine, somehow there's going to be a benefit for you or something going in your favor. So if it's not free, maybe you're getting more than what you're paying, or maybe you're receiving a discount, or there's a freebie that's thrown in some way, or in some sort of shape or form. Now, this could absolutely lead to you making a new friend, or just seeing there being more sales made in your business. Again, that would especially be the case if it is connected to the property market and travel and the travel and tourism industry. And for some of you, you could be buying a home. Okay, and that is because Jupiter is in the 3rd house, which is connected to contracts. Jupiter rules over your 2nd house, which represents spending money, and Venus rules over your 4th house, which represents your property and living circumstances. And because this involves Jupiter, which can be travel, and Venus rules over the ninth house, which is also indicative of travel. Maybe you're buying a property overseas, or you could be applying for permanent residency. Okay, let's just have a look. This is certainly a great time to network, even just with Venus being in your 7th house for nearly 4 weeks. Now, on the 20th of August, Mars is going to enter the sign of Gemini, which means it will be transiting your 5th house. Ordinarily, Mars would only spend about 7 or so weeks, approximately, in a sign, but in this instance, it's actually going to spend 7 months in your 5th house, and that is because Mars is going to have a retrograde cycle, which will commence at the end of October. Mars will be retrograde from the end of October until the 12th of January, at which point it will station direct, and then it'll finish up in Gemini in your 5th house at the end of March in 2023. So this is a great transit for you. I love that Mars is going to be in your 5th house. The 5th house is one of the luckiest houses in astrology. It is connected to fun, pleasure, leisure, vacations, romance, creative projects, hobbies, passions, children, as well as owning your own business and authorship. So whatever you initiate between the end of August, the 20th of August and the end of October, while Mars is direct, this is what you will then be focusing on from the end of October till middle of January. So you'll be working really hard at whatever you've initiated during that period of time. So make sure you're paying attention to whatever unfolds from the 20th of August onwards. This can see you basically taking up a short course with your romantic partner or with your child if you have children. You could be joining a class together. And I'm saying this because Mars rules over your 3rd house, which is connected to education. The 5th house, as well as the 5th house, as well as Mars, are connected to sports. So you could be doing something which keeps you physically active. On the romantic front, this can see you starting to date someone. So maybe you get into a casual relationship where you ask someone out. This can very well be a spicy time in your romantic life. You could be feeling very passionate about the person that you are currently dating. And over the course of the next 7 months, maybe you'll be taking that relationship to the next level. Now, this could be a new relationship that is starting with a friend or someone from work, or it could be with a client or friend of a friend. And I'm saying this because Mars rules over your 3rd house, which represents friends, clients, and networking in your neighborhood. And Mars rules over your 10th house, which is connected to career. So, like I said, a new relationship could be taking off. And even if it's not a relationship, it could just be that you start dating this person, you start seeing someone, you start flirting with someone, or maybe you're pumping yourself up to get ready to enter the dating world, whether that's for the first time or entering it again. Now, this can see you starting a new business or working on a new business idea. And it very well could take you like the full 7 months for you to get this idea off the ground. And on a different note, you could be quite selective with your business. Maybe you're cutting out clients that you don't want to work with anymore. Maybe you're working on selling your business. Maybe you're looking at closing it down. And again, this could be something that takes months to pull off. Now, like I said, the 5th house is connected to authorship, and Mars rules over your 3rd house. So you could be working on writing a book during this period of time. And you could very well be looking at branding your business differently, marketing. You could be looking at elevating your public reputation and your public image. And this could be a very bold and brazen move from you, given that this transit involves Mars, or maybe you're taking your business in a totally new direction that you've never taken it in before. And this could very well see you joining a new sport, giving some kind of performance, or maybe you're involving yourself in some sort of adventure sport or risk-taking activity. In any case, this is an exciting transit, and I will definitely be covering the retrograde period in explicit detail in October. So make sure you have subscribed to this channel if you haven't already, so that you don't miss any of my videos. Now, lastly, for the month, on the 24th of August, Uranus is going to station retrograde in Taurus in your 4th house at 18 degrees. So Uranus spends about 5.5 months being retrograde every year. So it will be retrograde until the end of January. It's not necessarily a big deal per se, but because this 18th degree in Taurus is being activated again, remembering that we had the Uranus North Node and Mars conjunction at 18 degrees, and then Mars and Uranus together at the beginning of this month, we're really tying in what was occurring at the end of July / 1st of August into this transit. So this could be you reflecting, reviewing, or recalibrating your position when it comes to your property and living circumstances, whether that is you now taking that next step to buy, to sell, to relocate, to find somewhere else to live, or maybe to become a property investor. On a different note, this can see you making some huge changes to the property that you live in, or maybe you're trying to change your living circumstances when it comes to who you share a home with. And of course, this can see you making some really big changes when it comes to your connection to your family, whether this is with your parents or your family in general, and how you relate to them, how much involvement you have with them. Maybe you're trying to get your family together over the next few months, and this could be a really big effort that you are undertaking. So that's all I have for you today, Aquarius. If you enjoyed this horoscope, like I said, please subscribe to the channel. If you want to see if you want to book a private reading with me, you can do so by clicking the link on the description box below. And enjoy your month ahead, Aquarius, and I will see you guys in September.